All right, so let's get this thing rolling. Nice to see you kids. We have a short group today. Again, no, more short jokes, right? And it's funny whenever I meet these people. Like when I remember when I first met Cam, I'm like, "Holy shit, Cam, you're like gigantic." Same thing with Brian Yarrow and everybody. Everybody's like, it's tough being the smallest guy in the group, and it's really tough with my wife. It's a really funny joke because it's funny before you're on. So when my wife and I were sad to see each other, and I had hair back then, not a lot, but I had hair, and all you guys know my wife. So she's 4'9", and so I said to her, I said, "Do I look like I'm going more bald?" And she goes, "I see you at this angle. You look the exact same as the day I met you." So it's all perspective. So to her, I wasn't any more bald than I ever was. Of course, if I bent over, she saw that big hole in my back of my head. She did say differently. All right, so today we are talking about how to future-proof your business. So one of the challenges I see in the realtor world, and we're seeing this especially right now, is that most realtors during the last, especially if you've been in business for 10 years or less, most realtors didn't actually build a business. They built a reactive business, and I'll talk about that during my time, but they didn't build a business to sustain during a time that the market shifts. And the only thing I know about real estate is the market shifts every 5, 7, 10 years, right? We've seen that, especially when you're my age, and I think Dennis, you're like twice my age, right? So so you see that as cycles go on, and this isn't the first one we're going to see. We're probably in this shift for another couple of years, and maybe two, maybe three, maybe five, who knows? And then we're going to shift back. But I will tell you one thing real quick before we hand it over to you guys is it's temporary, but in your life it can be really long. Meaning you may feel like this is the end of the world for you in the real estate space, but it just means you haven't built a business yet. So when you start learning some of the stuff that we've all done to stay in business for a long time, hopefully that'll help you sustain your business. So Ross, let's go ahead and start with you, buddy.
Cool. Good morning, everyone. Good to see y'all. Future-proofing your business. I think that's a really cool concept. And I probably have a different perspective than a lot of these guys, but I think everyone has a similar core idea of what future-proofing your business looks like. So for me, if I want to start my concept to you guys, I got to tell you where I think real estate is going. So I'm kind of spending all of my days out in the field, talking to new vendors, talking to tech companies, talking to lead generation companies, trying to find ways to add value to my team, scale, and do more, and have my agents do more transactions. That's what I really like to do right now. And I feel like I'm getting a good pulse. By no means do I have like my head wrapped around everything that's happening. I won't pretend to know that. But what I do observe is that the next generation of real estate will be the team model. The brokerage is now getting stepped down to the team model, where it used to be all brokerages. They would consume individual agents. Back in the day, they'd go take their MLS sheets around everybody else. There was no tech behind it. It was all manpower, right? So the individual agent could win in that space. Today, as I'm looking at how digitalized and how artificial intelligence is really taking over, and even how people are now searching for homes, where I know open houses will always provide leads, but most people are starting their search online. So what does this tell me? It tells me that the core of the real estate business will be people searching online. How do we then surround ourselves with possibilities to capture that business, right? As I'm looking at leads, I just went down and bought all of North County, San Diego for Realtor.com. They have moved to a model where pretty soon here they will not sell to an individual agent. Zillow has already pulled market-based pricing off the markets in all major counties across California. And if you're an individual agent, you cannot buy leads. What is this leading to? Is leading to the super team model, right? And even if, like, let's say I'm in an organization, I'm an individual agent, and I'm running a campaign, I am now not just competing against other individual agents. I'm competing against people who have more money than me because they've adopted the team model. So it's just whoever has the biggest reach is going to dominate the market because that's what the internet base is bringing. So what does that mean for us? Like, by no means am I the biggest and best team out there. Like, actually, far from it. But what I'm trying to do while we're in what I consider a down market in like Palm Springs, we're kind of similar to you guys in Florida. We're like, see you later. Prices are going like a slip and slide downhill. But that's okay. The market doesn't dictate what I'm going to do, right? So I'm laying good groundwork. I'm looking at these tech companies. I'm looking at opportunities to create opportunities and aren't there if you're not using these things. So all that to say is if you want to future-proof your business, you need to either scale or find someone that you really like that's scaling and go do that with them. Because if you're not going to scale your business, if you're happy with 4, 5, 6 transactions a year, you are going to phase out so quickly because no matter how hard you market, if you're door knocking, if you're shooting mailers out, people are like, oh, I already signed a touring agreement with this person online. Like this is the future of where you're going to go. So you need to cast your net out on the internet. You need to be if you're having people dial for you, if you've hired a calling center, you need to fire them and you need to go get a piece of AI that's going to call for you. If you're using manpower and spending dollars that are like an ISA, if you have an ISA that you're paying 10% a deal, I'm sorry, but you should probably go fire them and get AI to do it. Because what I would give $1,000 on a deal for an ISA, I'm only paying $1,500 a month now. So the future of real estate is laying down a foundation of technology where the best agents can come in and use it, succeed, and that will be your scaling process. Because when somebody sees them in the market, they're going to want to join what they're doing because they're doing it better than anyone else. Everyone's going to have their tech. Everyone's going to have their secret sauce. And still at the end of the day, even though I've said everything is tech, it still comes down to you. You make the difference in it. So if you want to future-proof your business, lay the foundation and then let yourself shine through what you're doing. Showcase who you are because you are still the attractor piece. I could go out and show off my AI all day. I could go out and show off my leads all day. But at the end of the day, if I'm not cool to them, like they don't want to work with me, right? So you are still the center. Still let your light shine through and whatever you're doing, work on yourself, but also work on getting your platform that's scalable. Otherwise, no matter how cool you are, you will get passed up. So future-proof your business with technology by scaling or latching on to someone who can scale. Doesn't mean that you have to join a team or whatever. Teams are now giving out white label opportunities and still giving you the power with this great rev share model and EXP. But cloud-based brokerage is the future. We're already in it. And that's all I got. I could keep going forever, guys, but there's a lot of smarter people on the call, so I'm going to hand it over.
That's great stuff. Yeah, I'll comment on some of that stuff when I speak because I love that stuff. Let's go over to Cam.
Hey guys. So that was really good. I agree, Ross, with what you're saying there is scaling is the key to future-proofing your business these days. We're in a really interesting time, right? AI is taking over the world, just like the dot-com bubble in the early 2000s, early 90s. You know, it is the future. There's no doubt about it. The technology that's coming with AI is going to shape every business, every industry, everything that we do day in and day out. So my first thing that I will tell everyone, and this is really, really important because no matter what the markets are doing, right? And I know a lot of you know this, but I say it all the time. I got my real estate license in February of 2008. That was when I officially started doing this. So what I'm going to say here is to future-proof your business, you need to, one, you need to be tracking what you're doing. But two, you need to look back on time and be open-minded about it. Remember, this isn't about trying to create a narrative or trying to come up with a fancy slogan that you can post on Facebook so that you can hopefully, no, guys, this is your business. This is your life. So you need to focus on it. You need to really spend some time on building a plan and that way you can work the plan for the next 5, 7, 10, 15, 20 years, right? It's imperative to know where you're going before you can worry about what the market's doing. With that said, no matter what the markets are doing, if you have grown your education, you've spent time on bettering yourself, bettering your business, bettering your knowledge base, right? I mean, every single one of these calls every week, I learn something from everyone here on this panel. And that is part of growing my education. I mean, it's one of the best parts of the week is learning from all of these guys. So if you are spending time, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be maybe a little too blunt, but you need to be spending an hour, maybe even more a day, per day, you guys. Think of all the education you could come up with if you spend a solid hour a day looking up things like all of the new AI technology that's just starting to break the surface here in real estate. But you can even break that down to a more micro level, right? Lead acquisition. Spend an hour a day, like Ross was just saying, man. Talk to the lead providers. Talk to some of the new CRMs. I know we have some really exciting stuff coming up at our brokerage here, but that doesn't mean that there's not auxiliary outside companies that are providing kind of next level stuff, right? Next gen kind of stuff. And if you don't go out there, you're not looking for it, you're not setting up those calls, going through the demos with them, you just get left behind. And that's the biggest key to future-proofing your business is you need to know what's going on, the different lead acquisition methods that you can implement into your business. That way you are staying ahead of the game. Education, grow your education, grow your knowledge base on the follow-up systems. I just learned yesterday about an all-new campaign system that does it all by AI. Again, AI, big word, does your whole follow-up drip campaigns, and it can completely build out, complex systems with one prompt. And it'll build out a full system. Not saying that it's the best. I'm not saying that's the way to go because I've done a lot of automation testing and not all of it works. But what I can say is that if you don't even know about this stuff, then how are you going to up your follow-up game? How are you supposed to become the best agent in the market if you're not aware of what's going on? That's also going to be the next one, service level, right? Continually be searching for the best things that you can provide to your client. Give them that special sauce. Give them the stuff that you can go to listing presentations or you can go to your buyer presentations and say, listen, this is why you want to work with me. This is why you want to sign with me. And all it takes is 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day. I mean, come on, you guys, this is our business. We got to spend time growing that business. And then last, post-closing support. These are the basics of real estate, but most agents are not spending time looking through what are all the different automated systems that can send happy birthdays, happy closing anniversaries, happy anniversary, all of the stuff that we know we need to be sending. It can all be done automated now. But if you don't spend a little bit of time every single day educating yourself, coming to panels and coming to wonderful training calls like this one here, if you're not doing that consistently, you're going to be left behind. Because I promise you, everyone here on the panel is, I know I personally am, and there's a lot of agents around the country that are really focused on growth through education, right? Secondly is you need to grow your footprint. This is huge for me because I am in technically the worst real estate market in America, they say, or the news says, whatever that means. But I have been able in the last 6 years, or really it's been really more 4 that I've been focused on it, to grow my footprint so that I can do all that education I was just talking about, right? Lead acquisition, follow up, service level. I can do all of that in multiple states now, all around the country. And that has allowed my personal market down here, as it's slowed, because it has. I mean, my personal business has definitely slowed, you guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But the overall income levels haven't dipped down because we are really growing, and we're growing the footprint, right? The foundation to our business. And that has been incredible because once you do the education part, you learn the lead gen methods, you learn what's working, you're testing it on your own market, you can take that anywhere, you guys. Like it's incredible. It's the best part about this business is that what works here works everywhere. And if you don't want to be the one working it, you can get a referral partner in any of these areas that would love, I promise you guys, love to work with you if you have consistent quality leads that they can work with you as a partner. So my biggest things right now is if you are looking to diversify, looking for referral partners, the first thing is you got to educate yourself. What are going to be the hot markets coming up? We got a ton of people that are looking at Missouri, Kansas, Ohio, these kind of little more off markets, right? They're not Miami, they're not they're not San Diego. They're a little bit more off the beaten path, but we believe, or at least it looks like by the forecast, that these markets are going to become the next kind of go-to place that investors are going to invest, as well as people are going to move simply because the prices in most areas have gotten too high. So the researching, finding those areas that you want to target, growing your footprint. And you can do this as a solo agent. You don't need to be, the $100 million man. You can do this as a solo agent, but it's consistency, reaching out to agents in those areas saying, hey, I'm looking for a referral partner because my area down here is a little bit slower, but I see yours is great. I would love to work with you. And then start that conversation, you guys. Be the leader that starts it, reaches out, and you're able to grow your footprint through that. But my number one thing is during these ups and downs, during the market shifts, because we are going through a market shift, right? Is having the education and then having the confidence to know this market's great. It's great. And I know that's going to be crazy to a lot of people because everywhere, every news article, every Facebook post, everything is saying, oh my God, the real estate market's crashing. The world is ending. But as a good agent, well, that's good for somebody else. It's always good for somebody. And if you keep that in your mindset, that the market's great, I just got to be the one to go find it, right? My old saying, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. If you have that mindset and you go after it and you're the one that's leading and staying in front of what's going on, you're not going to have a problem when the markets shift a little bit here or there. And then also you can take that same knowledge, that experience, everything that I was talking about here at the beginning, and you can bring that to somebody else in some other area that's just as big of a go-getter as you are. They just missed out on that first part. They didn't have the education. They haven't spent the time growing the business. And Mitch, I know you're going to talk about this more, but growing that foundation of the business. And then listen, you guys, you're able to do the things you want to do. You're not constantly tied down. You're not constantly panicked. I mean, that's really the truth. I know a lot of agents right now are panicked to get another pending because they haven't had one in 3 or 4 months. Well, when you can grow your footprint, it eases those kind of ebbs and flows. And really, you guys, that is the secret to having a business and not just being a salesperson where you're trying to sell. So I think the biggest thing I can find, if you don't have a partner or a coach or at least a mentor, you need to find one. You need to find somebody that's been through this, that's already hit their toe enough, right? To stub their toe and ow, oh, that hurts. But that's because they're trying stuff. They're doing stuff in a market that sometimes will kind of punish you if you do something wrong. Find somebody that's having success now. Like Ross was saying, partner with them. If you're not sure exactly how to be the leader, grab onto their coattails, learn from them, and that way you can also go do the same. But education, more classes just like this, and then spend a certain amount of time. And again, if you're not using, I don't know where my book is. If you're not using a book for tracking, we built this one out, right? The Real Estate Daily Bible, we call it. And it just gives you a schedule. So you're scheduled every day. It's not hard to do 30 minutes or 40 minutes, maybe an hour a day, but it's really hard to find an hour a day when you're not scheduled at all. So be scheduled, educate yourself, grow your footprint, and you'll make it through any market. I promise you, I've done it.
Good stuff. Great stuff, Kim. Catherine, how are you future-proofing your business? Because we know you are.
So honestly, I'm listening to you guys. I'm always so impressed. I'm like, oh my God, I have so much to learn. I'll be honest with you, the whole AI, finding time to educate myself. I am not doing it, and I should, but I'm really a sole agent who just kind of work, deals after deals, and I just focus on that, unfortunately. So I don't feel I'm really the one to be able to help here. My way right now, my focus is to start working on building my downline, and I want to also start potentially educating other agents on what I know I'm amazing at, which is like winning offers or whatever it is. So I just want to learn today. I don't want to take up the time from everybody else because honestly, I don't have a plan and I need one. So here we go.
So you know what? That shows you, right? Catherine's super, super successful, right? So the interesting part about real estate, and we're going to go over to Dennis in a second, is that you can be super successful flying by the seat of your pants, right?
Yeah.
However, if you can implement a couple of little things to help you, you can still fly by the seat, which, by the way, is how I've done my entire life, by the way. Fly by the seat of my pants, but I have a few systems in place that I follow with every business that I've owned that keeps me in the same place. So I'm learning here too, Catherine. So we're in the same boat. Dennis, go ahead, bud.
Okay, how's everyone doing? So, one of the things I'm going to say is don't rely on one source of business, right? So, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. So, you can be completely relied on like realtor.com leads or anything like that. If you just rely on that, things can change, right? Nothing in life is certain. Anybody could switch their model, they could do all sorts of stuff. Like Ross was saying, people were buying Zillow leads for a while and now they can't, right? So what I'm saying is things can shift, right? So don't rely on just one thing, spread it out a little bit, right? Different lead sources. Next thing is keep growing yourself. Always grow yourself. That's the only thing, that's the most important thing you could ever do in life, I think, is to grow yourself. Come to this mastermind. You're getting knowledge from all these folks. Um, Learn a new skill. I told you, Mitch, I'm learning meditation now. It's incredible, right? It's calming me every single morning, every single night. I mean, just constantly pour into yourself because that's where you're gonna help other people because you're gonna become a better person, right? That's higher level thinking. Um, what I did early on, 20 something years ago, is I copied people. I found out who was doing something really well, the big producers, and I really just researched the crap out of it and figured out what they were doing. I basically just emulated them, right? It's the easiest way to success is to figure out who's doing it right and do what they're doing, right? Not rocket science here. Recharge your batteries, whether that's working out with workout, yoga, whatever you do, meditate. That's important. And ask questions, right? Ask a lot of questions. Take somebody out to lunch. Take a successful agent out to lunch. Some will say no to you, but some will say yes to you. Take them out to lunch. Ask them what they would do in your shoes. That's the question you want to ask them. And let's see what they say. So, what else do I have here? Yeah, that's kind of what I get. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, this is a relationship business. Catherine, you're a prime example. Catherine doesn't have the big, lead sources coming in all the time, but she's relational, right? So when you meet somebody, it's always going to be, even if you're a solo agent, it's always going to be a relational business. If you're at an open house, you're going to meet somebody, they like you, then you're good to go. Kind of Mitch, what we were listening to John Maxwell, right? So people have to like you. I mean, that was an incredible half hour of education right there, right? So always constantly educate yourself, guys, and always keep learning. Never stop learning and keep pouring into yourself. And then the other stuff will just fall into place. That's kind of my thoughts.
Great.
Can I chime in on that real quick? Because Dennis,
course, yeah.
a wiser word has never been spoken. Like, you don't have to recreate the wheel. And the person you want to emulate, like you're saying, be relational. Start a relationship with them. Like, I really admire David Lawson, who's on this panel, and we've created a relationship. And Dave has been pouring into me. And how blessed am I to be able to learn from someone like that? And you'll find the people at the top always want to help. They have the abundance mindset. They live with open hands, and don't be too scared to approach someone because we're all just people, right? And like Dennis mentioned, we don't recreate the wheel. There's nothing new under the sun. Just go do what you want to do, what's on your heart to do, and ask for advice because people are more than willing to help, more than you'll know. So I think that was great, Dennis. Thanks.
That's awesome. One of the parts of that, just to tag on that real quick too, before we go to Brian, is you'd be surprised how many people don't ask for help. And they're afraid to ask for help because they don't think people will help them. I'm going to tell you, EXP, and I know we might have people not on EXP, but EXP is a different animal than anything I've ever seen in my life, my 24 years of doing real estate, because everybody helps you. I do about 10 to 15 coaching calls a week for people. My coach actually yells at me every week about it because he's like, why don't you charge people? I go, I don't really care. I just want to help people. And you'd be surprised when you reach a certain level, like, Dave and I are both old men. Sorry, Dave. But we've been successful in our lives. We just want to help you be there too. And I would say 50% of the people that I coach, I don't even know them. People just reach out to me because they know I'm a nice guy and I'll help. People will help you in your local market. Every market's different, right? Reach out to those successful people because they will help you. Go ahead, Brian.
Wow, that was really good, Mitch. You added something to my thoughts. Because I do the same thing. My wife always bags on me, like, Brian, why don't you charge these agents that you're training? They're all superstars now. And it's generosity. That's really what it is, right? So this is a great topic. Because if you would have asked me when I got my real estate license, hey, do you want to future proof your real estate business starting from the beginning? Like, where would I have been today if I would have had this question, right? I got my real estate license when I was 23 years old. I'm 63. My future 40-year business is here. I must have future proofed it because I'm still in it 40 years later. And I have some comments here, and I just want to I want to share some things that I believe and I've written down from every mentor. So I met John Maxwell in his office in the 80s. He was here in El Cajon, had a chance to meet him, go to Promise Keepers. I've had Brian Buffini as a great friend. I've had Tom Ferry as a great friend. I've worked with his coaches. I've worked with his dad. You name it, anybody who wrote a book, I've either had a time with them or spent time investing in their trainings. You know, going back to early days with Tony Robbins and Marshall Silvers and all these guys who wrote books in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And what I did was I grabbed a piece of all of them and I brought them with me. And today there's no technology in those relationships because there was no computers, there were no cell phones, there were just fax machines, right? So some of us like Mitch, Mr. Lawson here, what we've done, and I wrote this comment down, is we learned to master the basics of real estate sales skills that would build a foundation that would withstand any real estate climate or any real estate market. We've navigated the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst in the 80s from Southern California is similar to what the worst of the worst could be going on right now in Florida and what's going on across the country. And Cam said this, you know, about the real estate market. The real estate market has never been ready. You personally have to be ready for the market you're getting into. And then you have to learn that every beginner or every expert was once a beginner. We were all beginners. I was 23, didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't even know what I was going to do. I just know I got in. And the key was there was a couple of things that you've all touched on, and I'll end with this. I had this sentence that a dedicated real estate professional, which I know we all are, our goal is to provide exceptional service through market expertise, innovative technology today that we did not have before, and we have to have an unwavering integrity. Our oath, when we took it, I took my oath when I was 23 to provide fiduciary relationships to anybody that came into my business world, and I still hold that very true today. My goal is to provide the best service through integrity and a fiduciary relationship, and that's all I work on. And if I just stay working on those two things, technology is going to come and go. If you're getting into business today and you're learning AI, guess what? AI is not going to be here in 20 years. It's going to be something else. And we're just going to have to navigate the market as it does its thing. But if you pick up bad habits, then what you need is a great mentor to point those bad habits out to you. Because just like Tiger Woods, he's got a putting coach. And when he picks up a bad habit, he needs somebody to identify that bad habit. And the only person who's going to do that is somebody who wants to help you, like Mitch giving away integrity. You know, Dave working with Ross working with all his people. We all have a desire to help somebody. And I don't think that's ever going to change. And as long as you fix yourself on a foundation of service and helping others and learning your craft and being an expert, you will be in this business. Like I said, I didn't plan on being here 40 years later. I don't know if I'll be here 20 years later. I hope I do now because I have a lot more to give and learn, and I love it. And every time I give away a little nugget, then the world, like you said, you know, gives you back tenfold. That's my input.
That's great. It's great. And one thing you're going to hear from everybody here is exactly what Brian said. I mean, we all live by the reason why we all get along so well and we're all friends is because we all live by abundance. And we all,
right.
You know, we're here, and what do we have? 30 people on here today, right? I mean, there's 8 of us, and we're here we're all busy, but we all commit to this hour every week to give whoever wants to be here to live and learn. It's kind of honestly, it's a shame that we only have 30 people on it, that are not part of the group, part of the panel. And because the wisdom that I hear every single week from this group is just ridiculously amazing. Let's go over to Dave.
Well, I agree with a lot of things that have already been said. So first of all, we had an event last Friday. We had Brent Gove come in. We had 70 people there, and it was unbelievable. And, there's so many things that I could share with you, but I'm actually going to do a training on his training because some things that I learned that were so good. But some of the things that we talked about when we were there is what he was focusing on is you have two choices in business, right? You can do it the same way, or you can get better. You can show more properties to get more deals, or you can get better at showing properties. You can go on many more listing appointments, or you can get better at listing appointments so that your conversion rate is up. Everything is about conversion, right? So if you really think about that, and then you have to think about, and so I love what Cam says, and in my next life, I want to be Cam because he's young, energetic, and man, he's so awesome, right? And, Cam and I, we have different opinions on things lots of times, right? But what did he say? And he showed the thing about, you got to track your numbers. You got to track your day, right? So, tracking your numbers and tracking your day is so important. And when he was there on Friday, he met with and he brought in Verl Workman from Workman Systems, and he was talking about the same thing. And the thing is, I'm going to tell you all to stop being busy. Stop being busy and start doing the things that are going to move the needle in your business. You need to spend 5 or 10 hours a week. Ross, how many hours a week are we now working on our business versus in our business? It's not 5
It's our work. Yeah.
It's not 5 or 10 hours, right? It's way more than that. And that's how we have these breakthroughs. If we're always working on or working in our business, trying to find that next deal. So how do you do that? I mean, who has extra time, right? Nobody. So how do you do it? You have to schedule it in. You've got to have your, you got to go through it. So way back when, 20 years ago, I started tracking my day. And if I can share, I'm just going to share this really quick with you guys. Can you guys see this right now? Right here? My most efficient day. Can you guys see that? Nod, yes or no? Yes. So one of the things that I did in the coaching business is I said, you've got to know what this is. You want to do something that will blow your mind. So starting next Monday, I want you to pull this out and I want you to fill this out every 30 minutes and I want you to write in what you did. Okay? And then I have another one that is right here that tracks also your kind of your appointments and everything you do. Why am I talking about this? Because if you learn to stop working in your business, be specific about what you need to do, that's how you future business, or that's how you future-proof your career. The other thing is we are in a very good market city and a really, really good market in Salt Lake. Our market in Salt Lake and Park City is always 9 months behind yours. So where does that mean, Cam, that could happen to my market? Or where's your market, Ross? What can happen to me in 9 months or a year? So what I'm doing is I'm rewriting a program that I wrote in 2009 called How to Increase Your Market Share in a Declining Market. And when I have that done, I'm going to share it with you. It's not on my radar as like I have to do it right now to redo this. And the reason why is it's not specific to me right now, but boy, would all of you in those markets around the country want to have that information. And the thing is it's going to be 20% different than what I wrote in 2009. Okay. The other thing is we have to stop doing activities that are not producing results. We need to stop listening to the news. No social media, no news, nothing negative. And the thing is, who wants to increase their income? Then hang out with 5 people that are making more money than you are, because your average income is the average of the 5 people that you meet. You've probably heard that before, right? I teach my agents, stop. Are there 100 things to do in real estate to sell real estate? Yes or yes? It is, right? There's only 4 things. You guys have heard me say this, and you have to have a plan. So you need to prospect, lead follow-up, appointments with buyers and sellers, negotiating contracts. That's our job. We got in the job of real estate. When we signed on, we got into a sales job. So start selling, right? And then the last thing I'm going to say is you've got to change your mindset. If you guys are focusing on where the market is right now, you're an amateur, right? Right now, this is the time when times get tough. I remember my coach in 2000 to 2001, John Zanino, he said, you know what? You should wake up every day and wish for a real estate recession. And the reason why is that's because when everybody needs us, you don't have to have a heartbeat and a real estate license and only list something 20% or 10% over and it'll sell over the weekend. That's not those days of cocaine and champagne days. Those are gone. We're right now in a sales business, sales time, and that's what we need to focus on. So you have 2 choices. You have 2 pains. Get better or stay where you're at.
That's great. Pretty simple, right? Life is so easy.
Yeah.
Just get better. It's not hard. Just get better, damn it. Matty, what's up, Matt?
Hey, good morning. Boy, this is so I'll just add to a few things. You know, I look back to when I got in the business, which was in 1999, and I did the same thing that a few people have mentioned, which is I looked at the people that were really successful and I figured I'll do what they're doing. And first of all, they were all listing agents, right? Not that they didn't work with buyers, but they were primarily listing agents. So as a brand new agent in a brand new city with not knowing anybody, I just made myself a listing agent. I copied and I went after listings from the get-go. And the way that I did that, I copied the top producers, but I also went to lots of real estate conferences and seminars. And I was a student.
Yep.
And I still go to them. You know, we have Inman this month in San Diego, and it's a little expensive, but every vendor from every, you know, AI company, real estate company, marketing company, et cetera, is going to be at that conference in San Diego. And I really would encourage everyone to go to that. I think it's like, I mean, it's not cheap. It's like $1,300 for 3 days, but I would really highly encourage, if you don't go to
I have a code for $9.99, Mitch.
Oh, there you go.
As a past speaker.
Yeah, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Yeah. But so you got to be a student. And the other thing I would say is very important to pick your market, the market that you want to work, figure out how you market to that area within your budget, and just do it forever. And again, copy from the best. Everybody on this panel is happy to help anybody on this call without any charge. But, you know, the market's great if you work it. If you work it in any market, you can make a great living in this business. If you do nothing in any market, maybe in a great market, you can still do pretty well. But when the market slows down, and even in San Diego, the market here, I'd say, is still good in Southern California, but it's not the way it was in 2021, right? But if you work it, you'll get results. So again, whether you go to Inman or whether you pick every coach out there, every seminar, people that put on seminar, you'll always get stuff out of going to those things. Same thing with doing, demos online. We all get a million ads popping up on our social media. I do demos all the time because I'm curious what it is they have, So you always, it's critical that you always be a student and always be learning. And like Dave said, we've all had coaches at different times. It's great to have a coach. But I guess that would be my thing is be a student of the business always, no matter how long you've been in the business, whether you're brand new or whether you've been doing it a long time.
Well, two of Matt's best traits that I've been able to observe lately are courage and curiosity, and he puts those together. He's the best at listings that I've seen. I mean, he goes out and gets them, and he's always harvesting relationship, always prospecting, and he has no fear when he's in those situations. And I love his curiosity. When he's saying he's on these demos, like, he's telling me about stuff because he's like, oh yeah, I saw that. He's always seeking, always curious. And he's used those two traits that I really lack in, makes me want to develop them because that's made him a super powerhouse. So anyways, Matt, you rock, dude.
Thanks, Ross.
Well, and you have to be ready and open to things when you hear them, because that's when you can say yes and implement it. Right. So it's the mindset. Matt's always in the mindset. I'm always in the mindset of what can I do to really help my business, right? Or learn something. That doesn't mean that we do everything. That's for sure. Right. But that's how, and the thing is, I joke and I say, yeah, there's 10,000 homes. We've only sold 3,920. So we have a little experience, right? In Park City and Salt Lake. But the thing is you just have, Matt is doing this because that's part of him working on your business, right? And you all know what the word R&D means, right? Someone say research and development.
Rip off and
no. What did I tell everybody? It's rip off and duplicate, right? So that's what we do. All right, go ahead.
No, that's great. Thanks, guys. All right, so I get Lily, I could talk for 7 hours on this subject because it's my passion, right? So I'm going to say a few lines. I'm going to give you some tips, and then I'm not going to talk for 15 minutes, and then we'll open it up to any questions or whatever. All right, firstly, if I can urge you to do something, it's never take advice from people that sell 2 homes a year. I've learned in this business the people that sell the least amount of homes are going to give you the most advice. Right? And I did. The first day in my business, I walked in the door and these 2 women came to me, oh, let us give you some tips. Don't do open houses. At the time we had floor time. Don't do floor time, and don't do internet. So open houses to me, like, people are coming to me. How can that be a bad thing? And so I sold 36 homes my first year without knowing one person. And 28 were from open houses because I didn't listen to those people that only sold 2 homes a year. Your business is your choice. And I think one of us kind of touched on a little bit. But if you think your business is 6 homes a year, that's your business. It's the standard that you set for yourself. So when I got in the business, because I had just lost $82 million, so it was a bad day. And I had 3 months worth of money in the bank. I had $14,000 in the bank. And I was going to be broke and bankrupt in 3 months. So a couple of things happened to that. One, I needed to be successful versus wanted to be successful. And I want you to understand that. A need versus a want is so much different. If you just want to be successful, everybody wants to be successful. Like I'd be with agents every day, all day long. Oh yeah, I want to sell 100,000 homes a year. No, you don't. You don't need to sell them, right? And you definitely don't want to do that. Your life would completely suck. But if it's a need, and I want you to really have we've talked about the mirror to your success before, where you need to look in the mirror and really have honest conversation with yourself. If you're not successful, I'm sure we have a lot of successful people. You are not successful right now because of you, not because of anybody else. Right? These guys have all given you amazing tips on how they built their businesses into amazing recession-proof businesses. You can do that. I look at market shifts as an opportunity. So during the first crash that I was involved, which was we actually started in 2006. We had 100 listings on the market. I just started my brokerage a year ago. I had 100 listings on the market. Nothing had sold for like 4 months, and none of my agents were taking phone calls. Like they'd all got yelled at. So who do they call? They called at the time it was the broker. So they called me and yelled at me every day. Well, I made a decision at that point, which again some people would agree with me, disagree with me, to not take any listings at all unless they were listed 5% below market. And we didn't. So what happened, and I had all my friends who were brokers say, "You're going to go out of business. That's the stupidest business move in the world." I'm an entrepreneur. So when I looked at it, I said, all right, if I had a loaf of bread on the shelf for 6 months, it's going to be pretty moldy, right? Why would I want that? So if I'm keeping things on the market for that long, and things were on the market for a year or longer back then,
Yeah.
I want them out. I don't want them. So we mastered buyers. So in some markets, it's a buyer's market right now. If you're in a buyer's market, master buyers. Okay. The other thing I want you to think about, and I can't tell you how many times I hear this, "Oh, well, this is how I do my job." Like, if you think this is your job, then you're going to lose from the get-go. This is a business, and if you're not running a business and acting like a business, then you're not going to have a business. And so all these people I know that are out there, I've heard people, "Oh, let me explain to you how I do my job." This is how you do your job. This is how I run my business. Different mindsets, right? So I want to get into a couple of things. I'm going to keep this as brief as I can, but the most important thing you could be doing right now is lead generation. And I don't care how you're doing it. I'm going to give you a couple tips, but lead generation, you are in the lead generation business. Again, for me right now, if I was in your shoes, I'd be lead generating to get more buyers and sellers. I mean, Ross is a little Flex is a buyer platform, right? That's why you guys are killing it right now. It doesn't mean I wouldn't take listings, but I'd be also very strict on what I took for listings. If they want, well, that house down the street 3 years ago sold for $500,000. Well, I'm sorry, right now your house is worth $350,000. Sorry, I didn't determine the market. The market determined the market. So lead generation, and you guys have heard me say this a million times. You have more business sitting in your phone than you'll ever need the rest of your life, right? So you've got to be database driven, and there's not a lot of people that teach this, and I'll probably do a class on this soon because your database is your gold mine. It's your future proofing your business every day of the week because I have 2,000 people in my thing. That's 140 sales a year sitting in my phone right now, right? How old?
Yeah, Mitch, you know what I say?
Yeah.
Your database is your future bank account.
100%. And remember, everybody in your phone knows 250 people, right? So my 2,000 people is a 500,000 person contact opportunity. But how do you do that? And if you go to my YouTube channel, look up how to make $100,000 a year working 4 hours a day. I go through all of this with you. Other thing, again, working on buyer leads. You guys should be doing open houses every Saturday and Sunday. When I started my real estate career, every Saturday and every Sunday I did open houses. And I didn't just do an open house from 11 to 1. I did from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. I have a system for it. It's in that video. I have systems. That's why I never sold, regardless of the market, any less than 24 homes a year from open houses. And even when I was selling 80 homes a year, I did open houses every week. I didn't do both days. I just did a quadrant of days. I'm going to not disagree with Ross with regards to teams. I do believe the broker model is changing. That's why I look at EXP as a platform, not really a brokerage. It's a platform to build your business. But I'm a big believer in building a team, but I don't like to build a team with agents. And I'll give you a quick example of that. I sold a house last week, and I'm going to use an easy number so I know the math off the top of my head. I pay people to show houses for me. I don't show houses. I pay people $25 a house to show houses for me. And so I did, because I'm all about freedom, right? If you've worked with me at all, if you've done any coaching with me, you know I'm going to teach you how to be free because that's more important to me than anything else. And so I sold this house. It cost me, so a normal team, you're going to get a 50% split. And so a $10,000 commission, which this was, you're going to give $5,000 commission. I don't like that model, personally. Right? I also don't want to have agents because I don't want them. deal with them. Nothing personal against agents. It's just I've done that, been there, done that. So it doesn't promote freedom. So what promotes freedom is me not showing property. So I don't show property. I call it my modern team. It's in my book called The Big Lie. If you email me at mitch@mitchrealty.com, I'll send you a PDF of it. I'm glad to give it to anybody. I don't charge for it. Although it is on Amazon if you want to give me a few bucks. But the reality is that your team should be you and ISA, an assistant. If you, and this is for someone that's producing, but I would never have shown property. Knowing what I know today, I would never have shown property ever. I would have paid people because I put this one deal I just did. It cost me $1,600 instead of $5,000. But here's the most important time: my entire time in the transaction, 30 minutes. So I made $8,400 for 30 minutes worth of work. It's a pretty good deal. I think 30. What's that? That's $16,000, $17,000 an hour. It's not a bad gig. So that, and then I'm going to end on this, and then we'll open it up. You need to time block your day. It's the most important thing I do. I tell people I only work 30 hours a week. I run 4 companies, but I don't do 30 hours worth of work. I do 60 hours worth of work in 30 hours. And the reason why most of you are not able to do that is because you're not allocating time. 9 to 11, prospecting. And I don't care how you do it. 11 to 12, go back to your emails and answer emails, or 11 to 11:30. I'm just making up numbers here. 12 to 1, eat lunch, right? 1 to 2, something else. And, take it. A lot of people have touched on it. You have to always be developing yourself. I've gone to a million seminars. I've read a million books. And by the way, when I read a book, I literally have to read it 3 to 5 times to get it, because I have a reading disability. But I do, because I want good to great, changed my life. E-Myth Revisited, changed my life. Die with Zero, changed my life. Those are important books in my life. There's a million of them. So you need to be constantly working on yourself, but do it in the time blocking. And when you're doing time blocking, and we could do a whole class on that, I'm sure we will soon. When you're doing time blocking, nothing interrupts that time. Nothing is that important that you can't spend an hour doing it. And I do my time blocking in 45-minute blocks. So I have 15 minutes to get my thing. One of my favorite books, 10 times easier than 2 times. I do my time blocking in 45 minutes because a couple of things I have to. I have to play my guitar for 5 minutes. I have to answer some emails, and I have to respond to text or phone calls. But I do that in 15 minutes. But when I'm in my blocks, I do not get interrupted. My phone is upside down. I have no notifications on that are loud, and it's really important. So we got about 6 more minutes here. Does anybody else want to throw anything else in?
Mitch, I want to say one thing. Now that I've heard all this, there's one thing that I think I did do that I didn't share. Was I noticed that realtors who are frustrated, right? Because there's clients walking around who are frustrated. They're having a bad experience. Most of them are for sale by owners if they're a seller because they had a bad experience. Or there's just buyers walking around and showing up. The ones that show up in a lot of open houses, they're there because actually the experience that they're having isn't the best, right? Because most of us would not allow our buyers to run around and go into open houses unassisted or without arming them, right? So for those clients who are still out there, a couple things you want to understand is if you're frustrated, then how can your clients not be frustrated? There's no way you can deliver an amazing American dream experience if you're frustrated with your business. So I looked at that years ago and I wrote down, what are all the things that make me frustrated? And Mitch, you said it. Well, maybe it's showing houses. So you just figured out a way not to show houses and your days got better, right? Well, what I did was I learned that once you start to write that down, you'll create an avatar experience for your client. And if you haven't done this yet, I challenge all of you and anybody watching this to write down, if I were to ask you this question, you've been in the business all these years, can you look back over your career? And if I asked you, who was your favorite client? Like, who was your favorite client, Cam? A name comes to you, right? Matt, a favorite seller came to you, right? Probably a guy or a gal that you walked in and you said, hey, before I go through all this, have you already decided you're going to list with me today? And then you just went right into the listing because you didn't even have to do a presentation, right? It's going to be that mindset. There's somebody. Well, what did they do perfectly? And then how do you want every client after them that comes into your business take from that avatar experience and become the avatar that you need them to be for everybody to have a great experience. I guarantee you, when you start writing this down, you're going to find that building avatar clients is a gift, but once you give them the actual instructions how to be the buyer that the seller chooses out of 8, or how to have the perfect seller experience, and you share with them ahead of time that what they need to be as an avatar to have an amazing experience, do you know they will want to become that client, and they'll stop going out looking at property until they're a perfect 10. There'll be a seller who goes, you know what? Yeah, I do want to know that the buyers that are going to see my house already know what I have a home inspection. I have a termite report. I've already got the HOA. I got this. And once you have that avatar built and you give them what the perfect avatar experience is going to be, you'll start to show only one home. I probably 10 years, I show my clients maybe 1, maybe 2 homes, because they don't want to go see a bunch of homes that don't fit their wish list. They discount them before they even go see them. So building an avatar, have fun with that. But I guarantee you, once you build it, all you do, Mitch, is those 2,000 people in your phone, you share, hey, I just all want you to know I'm still in the business, and here's my perfect client I'm looking to work with. And you share your avatar with all your community. Do you know they will send you avatar clients day in and day out? I get avatar clients sent to me all the time, and they already know what it is to be a perfect client. So work on that.
Yeah, that's great. And I'll give you, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I just wanted to say before we got off, bear with me. I apologize in advance, but I'm giving you my sales pitch. I think there's 38 people on this, or there were, whatever, 30 something people. Why? All of us, we need to be inviting people. You know what I did yesterday? I called a good friend of mine. His name is Ken Turner. He's up in the Eden area at the ski resorts up there. He's been around in the business 20 years. He's one of the absolute best agents. And he came to EXP with me, but I didn't call, and I wasn't doing what I say I'm going to do, which is help other people, right? So I called him. He's on the phone. We need this. Did anybody get anything out of this? I've got 2.5 pages of notes. I learned a ton of stuff today. Did anybody learn anything? Why are we not sharing this with other people? So bring 1, bring 2. I have also Michael Hebert, the principal broker. He's only represented like 30 or 40% of all the sales as the principal broker in Park City for 10 or 15 years is on this call. Why? Because I invited him. Michael, did you get something out of this? He can't say, but he could put it in the chat, right? Ken Turner, did you get something out of this? We all do. When I joined EXP, Pete Middleman told me that you guys, the collaboration is unbelievable, and he lied like through his teeth. What he told me was a small fraction of how awesome it truly is. So we have all of this, right? Share it, get other people and they don't have to be at EXP. They can be at any company. We're here for everyone. So sorry, Mitch. I just felt like I had to do that.
No, I agree. You know, I will tell you from a leadership standpoint, it's frustrating sometimes. You know, we give so much stuff. I mean, I don't even sell anymore, and I take pages. I wrote a page of notes today. I mean, it's unbelievable the stuff that we do on this, and we need to get more people on here. Not for us, for them, because it's not for us; it's for them. We do what we
well,
always do.
And you know, we usually have 90 or 100 people on. Now I know it's summer and all that, but last time I checked, we need to get better every day, right? Today is the day to get better.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Thanks.
Can we get about 30 seconds?
I got 30 seconds. I got to say this because I've seen this everywhere right now. If you're an agent, solo agent, a team agent, it doesn't matter. If you're struggling and you're at the point now where you're selling your boats and your cars and you're changing your lifestyle, take a minute reevaluate your business. Let's change your business and get you back being a successful business person. You're not going to fix the problem by selling your car. Okay. That's just not going to fix it. You need to fix the root of the problem, work with someone, hire someone, get in these meetings. These meetings like today will get you back on track so that you're not having to change your life. The most successful coaches I have ever worked with, when the times get really tough, they actually tell you to go extend yourself further. They want to put more pressure on you. So you are the one that's making it happen, you guys. And everyone here can do that. I know for a fact they can. And like David was just saying, invite your friends to this, you guys. This is life-changing stuff. So everyone's invited. It's completely agnostic to everybody. We want them here. We want to help them. And that is the value. That's what, at least for me, makes it all worth it. This has changed my life, being able to help you guys.
Yeah. All right, guys. Great stuff. And by the way, all these are recorded on my YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and watch some of this stuff, they were all there. Every single one we've ever done for the past, what have we done this, 3 or 4 years now? I mean, they were all there. All right, guys. You guys rock. Love you guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys.
Bye.
You guys.
Bye bye.
Merci, bonne journée à tout le monde. À bientôt.